Hello everyone and welcome back to Rich History. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at some examples of souvenirs that soldiers brought back from World War II. During World War II, soldiers didn't spend all their time in combat. Tourism was extremely popular as most U.S. soldiers had never been outside the country and because of the close proximity to countless historic sites and places of interest. Just as people traveling do today, servicemen and women brought back souvenirs to remember their service overseas. While official capture papers were required for larger items like firearms, soldiers were able to easily bring back countless other types of souvenirs, some of which we'll look at now. One of the most common types of souvenirs brought back by troops were small items made for soldiers. One such example is this lighter made in occupied Japan. This was brought back by my great-uncle who was a transport pilot in the China India Theater. Pieces like these were made locally by local artisans and were marketed directly at service members who were looking for something to bring home. Another example is this ashtray. This ashtray was made in Germany during the occupation period and has a bunch of different unit insignias painted on it. This is another example of a piece that was made locally and was marketed at soldiers. You're going to see a lot of these pieces being made during the occupation period as soldiers would have had more time on leave to shop around and locals would have needed the extra income during the economically troubling times. Another popular souvenir was postcards. This is actually a World War I postcard that was bought in France. The back reads, "Bought in Senef, December 12, 1918, and has the soldier's name and unit on the back. Sometimes service members would just pick up things along the way that they thought were interesting. This is a fortune from a temple that was in the China India Theater, brought back by an airman. This is a Buddhist tradition. If you get a good luck paper from the temple, then you keep it for good luck, and if you get a bad one, then you leave it at the temple. So this airman thought it was good luck and took it with him. Here's another example of just something that a soldier might have picked up. This is a Filipino banknote that has victory stamped on it. Basically, the idea is if the Japanese invaded, then notes with victory stamped on them wouldn't be able to be used. A lot of the time, service members would try to bring back things that represented the culture of the country that they were stationed in. For example, in the Netherlands, you'll see people bringing back wooden clogs, while in the Pacific, you're going to find more things like silk and traditional Asian items. Another category of bringbacks is captured military items. Soldiers being soldiers, military items were often of interest and ended up back in the United States. Flags, knives, weapons, and insignia items were common souvenirs among servicemen. Here's an Italian fascist pin, which is a souvenir of Italy, brought back by an AAF officer. Pieces of insignia like this were fairly common to bring back as they didn't require any special permission and didn't take up too much space. The most common souvenirs, however, were simply memories and sometimes photographs. While many soldiers brought back souvenirs to remember certain parts of their service, some didn't want to remember the service at all due to difficult experiences. Souvenirs, or the lack of, give interesting insight into the service of World War II veterans, and they're certainly one of my favorite things to collect.